Every system has its time and day. So first, listen, in the early 90s, hip-hop wasn't what it is today. It didn't exist as we know it. So it had to be born. It was born because there was a need, and it was also the time. Remember, there's dharma, there's a story. There's a story of time. There's a story of the people as they're going through time. We can complicate things by adding the system and the story of the system and a story in relation to dharma and time. Fine. What I'm trying to say is that everything, there's a story. So at some point there's no hip hop. Then there's hip hop. And as hip hop starts to be needed as a sound frequency, it finds its, first of all, its bedrock, which is Brooklyn or Queens. I don't know, let's not argue, but it's there, over there, okay? This is where we're going to establish itself. Then it finds the right people who are looking for it, who are looking for a sound vibration to somehow break shackles, break something in their nervous system that is numb, that are looking for a way to communicate and maybe to even speak to their own brothers and sisters in a language that they'll understand and that is able to reach them. So that wasn't there before. So and then you can say, yeah, but hip-hop is the evolution of R&B or soul or whatever you want to say. Yeah, fine, but hip-hop is really hip-hop. Okay? So then that frequency starts to establish itself, finds its original dudes and starts to inspire them, and then guess what are they trying to do? We don't know how to make that sound. So they start to try to make the sounds, and then they have to start playing with technology, and they start like, oh yeah, okay, it's coming on the same process I went through, or right? So they're like, okay, we want the break beat. Okay, so wait, right? Okay, but this is like, it's too dry. Let's put some kind of like plastic sheet so it slides better and like, right? And then we need like right? So they create the technology that's necessary in order to make the sound. What I'm trying to tell you is that there's a time for that. It wasn't there in 1940. It wasn't necessary. It's not, do you mean to tell me that didn't exist? Well, I don't believe it didn't exist. It existed, it wasn't its time. So when it becomes its time, now it wants to ground itself. So it starts, and maybe it was being birthed for 20, 30 years before, slowly but surely, taking its form, using other mediums or its parents, if you'd like. Soul was, let's say, its mommy or daddy, right? It doesn't matter. But now it's becoming its time. There's a calling for it. This is when it's pure, not what it is today. It's pure. Right? And now it's starting to use its priests to ground the sound, express the sound, and then we're going to go communicate the sound and draw in the crowds. And from the crowds, we're going to have young cats who are going to be like, I know this. I've always known this. I've always known this is me. That's me. And then they immediately want to dedicate themselves to the craft. And what do? They take that, and then they just kind of like, it just like bubbles in them, and then they start to, dare I say, it's not innovate, it's just take it one leg further.